One of the most common reasons that healthcare practices lose money today is because the front desk doesn't know how to handle the new patient call. And this is something that you absolutely have to track, or you're not going to be able to improve the receptionist's performance or identify the problems that are resulting in people not scheduling. This is something that is simple to do, that you can implement, and that you can track with absolute clarity. Now, how would you know if people are calling and not scheduling because you're not in network with, a particular insurance company? Well, you probably won't ever know that because the receptionist is typically not going to tell you. And if it comes up like once or twice a month, it's probably not going to be an issue that they even think about. So this is an opportunity for you to identify areas where you could make more money. Maybe someone is requesting a service that you don't offer that you might want to consider. Maybe there's a business opportunity there. Maybe there are people are requesting appointments outside of your normal office hours, and you could evaluate, is there a potential opportunity there? You will never know those things unless you're tracking these calls. You need to have a way to track every call that comes into your office, and especially these new patient calls. So what I want to share with you is a piece of software. This software is made by a company called Process Street. It is a business process management tool that will revolutionize your healthcare practice. This software tool, it can be very simple, and it's highly effective, but it can also integrate with your other software programs, and we can pass data and really improve efficiency even further. But simply putting a business process tool like this in place can absolutely transform your practice, make everyone's life in the practice easier, make everyone happier, lower stress, improve your patient experience, help you to be more compliant with the operations in the practice, but also with HIPAA and other regulatory agencies. So this can be a truly transformative software program that just makes your life easier because it gives you line of sight to every recurring process that is happening in your office in real time. It's absolutely incredible. This is why I'm such a big advocate and fan of this, and this is one of the reasons I want to show you this software, because I know it has the power to really change your practice and your life if you implement it. So let's go through a quick example of how a receptionist would handle an incoming call for a new patient. So I don't have the scripting in this example, but you could add scripting so that the receptionist could kind of use it as training wheels if you wanted to, or you could have it more more clean as I have this laid out. Now let me just orient you to the screen real quickly. On the left-hand side of the screen, this is showing you there are a few tabs here at the top left or links. There's one to the library, so that this is where you can access all of the processes that have been created in the software, which is easy to do, by the way. And then there are reports, which allows you to look at the current processes that are running or that are ongoing in the practice, so that you can see, are they on time? Are they past due? What has been completed? Who is responsible for the next step? And this gives you just such clarity that it is truly one of the most powerful features, is just being able to look at the reports and see, where everything is in the office. You can also look at My Work, which gives you the specific tasks that you have been assigned that you are due that day. Now, it will show you if it's past due, overdue. I don't want to get too much into that because I want this to be short enough that we can cover it in just a few minutes. But in this example, the call comes in. Let's say the call comes in, receptionist answers and gives them the greeting. And says, how can I help you? And the caller says, hi, I'm interested in scheduling an appointment. The receptionist would say something like, okay, great. Are you an existing patient or would you be a new patient? And let's say they say new patient. So I'm going to be a new patient. And then, so what the receptionist would do is they'd say, okay, great. Give me 1 second and I will gather some information to help you out here. So what the receptionist would do is they would have their software. They would have this software open. Now, all of your employees, when they come into work, they should have opening procedures. And one of their opening procedures should be open all the software they're going to use on the computer for the day, right? That's just basic. You don't need a call coming in like this and the person's not even logged in to their software. So they should already be logged into the software. I recommend that every employee have a daily checklist. So as part of coming into the office, the first thing they do is, they turn on everything and then they open their computer and they log into Process Street, and it automatically queues it up and automatically assigns the employee their daily checklist. And the daily checklist starts out with something like, open up all of your software programs, and it gives you a list of the software programs that they open. And so they open those, and once they've done that, they click done, and that task is checked off. And then it tells them their next task. Maybe it is turn on the radio, unlock the doors, turn on the lights, whatever it might be. The sequence is there, and they check those off every single day. Now, this is a great management tool. This is a great tool to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do, and it gives them absolute direction and clarity. And you can see each step of that process if it's being done or checked off. And so it's great from a management perspective. You just be clear with the employees, like, hey, this is part of how you will be evaluated at your monthly or quarterly reviews, is whether or not you are actually following through and completing and following your daily responsibilities. So it's a great tool. And so it would guide them to have this software open. So the call comes in and the receptionist says, sure, let me just gather some information real quick. So they would click new, they would click run a workflow. And in this case, I have it named prospective patient lead. You can name it whatever you wanted, but you would click on this and this workflow that I already have up would open. Now you see on the left-hand side here, this is the company logo and the person's name, which they could just enter when they click new. They could just enter the name, or they could leave it blank. It's not a big deal to start with. And then the first step is, and the only step you see in this process that's available to see at this point, is gather basic prospective patient information. And then here on the right-hand side of the screen, this is where we gather that demographic information. So the receptionist would say, okay, may I please have your first name, your first and last name? She says, Janet Smith. Okay, get that. Okay, may I please have your phone number? Take the phone number down. What is your reason for calling the office? How can we help you? And you're going to say, well, I'm interested in losing some weight. Okay, great. So she types in reason for contacting our office, weight loss. May I please have your email address so I can send you our intake forms and practice information? Sure. Takes the email address. Okay, what city do you live in? And you could gather any demographics that you choose or that you feel would be necessary here. But you could just get the name of the city, and will you be using health insurance? Or will you be filing health insurance? And the person would say, let's just say sure. And then the receptionist would say something like, okay, what is your provider? Who's your provider? And say Blue Cross Blue Shield. And then if you don't mind, could you please give me your policy number? We can verify some benefits for you. And she'd say sure. So it's the policy number, and then would say something like, and this would be part of scripting, and you could put this in here, you could add this anywhere, but you could say, okay, I have the information that I need. Would you like to go ahead and schedule an appointment? And let's say they say yes. So we have two options here. Yes, they want to schedule an appointment, or no, they do not want to schedule an appointment. And let's say, for example, what might be a reason that they would say no? Well, this is one of the things that you absolutely want to know. This is something like, let's say they have United Healthcare and you don't take United Healthcare. And that would be the end of the call, and you would never know. You would never know that. Or maybe they need a time that's outside of your normal hours. What you would need to do is you need to know that information. So if they said no, let's just for the sake of tracking this here and showing you how this works, that if the receptionist click no, they don't want to schedule, then you see that it shows up another task on the left over here, and this says manager review prospective patient no show or no schedule. And then you see the comment pops up in the comments below. Please explain why the caller does not want to schedule an appointment. So then your receptionist would be trained. You need to enter why. Caller wanted to use United Healthcare. Okay, and they could hit send, and it posts it to the comment here, and they could put at practice manager, at doctor, whatever, or they could just leave it, caller wanted to use United Healthcare. And then you can see there's a comment here on that task. So when the manager or the doctor's reviewing it, they could just come back here and say, oh, what happened? Caller wanted to use United Healthcare. And that gives you information to help you with making decisions. Business opportunities can be found through this. And so that may be how it goes. And in this situation, the receptionist might hit complete. And when they hit complete, it goes to the next step. And this step we could automatically assign to the doctor or to the manager. And they would want to know this information so that they can, again, be aware, hey, someone called, they didn't schedule, here's why. Every single call that comes in like that, you should know. You should know why. Now, we could take this data, we could add the reasons why to a Google sheet or another a data set that could allow you to build out a list of people and why they chose not to schedule. That is something that you could do to help you with gathering and sorting through this data. But this is something that is very valuable. So let's go back now. As the doctor or the practice manager, they would review that and they would hit complete, and it would complete the workflow. In our situation, what we want to do is I want to show you what if they said yes. If they say yes, so they would say yes, I'd like to schedule an appointment. The employee would say, okay, great. So what I'd like to do is let's get you scheduled, and the employee would pull up the health record scheduler. They would look at the schedule, and they would help the person find a day and time that works for them. Okay, once they found the day and time, they'd say, okay, great, I've got you scheduled here. And then what they could do is they could come right here into Process Tree, and let's just say they choose the date and the time of the appointment. So let's say it's June 28th at 8 a.m. So they've selected, they've entered the date and time of the appointment in Process Street 2. They've created the appointment on the calendar in the electronic health record, and they've added whatever information to the EHR that they need. They say, okay, so the next thing is that I'm going to do is Ms. Smith, I'm going to send you a text message with a link to our online intake forms, and then I'll also send you an email with information and a link to our forms as well. So just be looking for that, and please complete those forms as soon as you can so that the doctor can review them prior to your appointment. And so then what you can do is you can have a template here for the text message that you want to send. So in this case, it says, "Hi, Janet," because it automatically puts in their first name because we inserted a variable. So whatever name is entered in on as first name on the data gathering page, it's going to go ahead and pull it in. It's going to pull all this stuff into anywhere else that we want to use it throughout the workflow. So it says, went ahead and put in, "Hi, Janet. We're excited to meet you. Please complete the intake forms here." And I have just default, like, insert the link to the forms, which, your practice, you would obviously want to insert the link to the forms if you have those capabilities, hopefully so. Please complete the intake forms here as soon as possible. We look forward to seeing you soon. And she could copy, the receptionist could copy all this and send it through your text messaging service. Hopefully you have that, whether that's in your electronic health record or it's a third-party application. Hopefully you have something like that, because texting, a lot of people respond to text and never see your emails. Now, so that's why but you would also want to send an email. Now you can see here, we already have an email template, because this is one of the features here of Process Street. We can create email templates, and it can go ahead and import and insert all of the information that we've gathered. Like you can see, Janet's email is already in here, and that is because we used the email variable, and it just pulled the information from that first page, the data we gathered, and put it here into the to field. The subject line, it pulled Janet's first name in to our subject line. So whatever name would be there would be inserted here, and then comma, "Welcome to the practice." And then also throughout the body of the email, we have some variables entered, like her first name. "Hello, Janet. Welcome to the practice. We're thrilled to have you as a new patient. To streamline the intake process and ensure we have all the necessary information, we kindly ask you to fill out our intake forms. You can access the forms by clicking on the link below." Now, of course, we would insert the real link, and then all you have to do is, it inserted the date and time of our appointment too, because we chose, remember the previous task, we selected the day and time of her appointment, and it automatically pulled it in for us here in the email. All you have to do is hit send, and it will send the email, or it will open your default email provider and give you a chance to modify it if you want to, but you can click send, and it will go ahead and send that out to Janet. So she'll have both of the links to the forms via text and then also via email. So then the receptionist would hit complete and say, they would say something like, "Thank you so much. We are really excited to meet you. Please let us know if you have any questions before your appointment." And typically that's it. That's the call. Now, this next step, did the prospect keep their appointment? Because if they don't keep their appointment, you want to follow up, of course. So what you would do here is you would choose the due date. You would want to go ahead and have the receptionist as part of, they would hit complete. The next step is they want to set the due date for the date, the day and time of the appointment, right? So 8 a.m. on the 28th of June, save. So now this is going to show up in their My Work when they log in. When they log in on the 28th, they're going to see like, oh, it's one of my tasks for the day is to make sure and check on, update this process to see if Janet showed up for her appointment. Now, did the prospect keep their appointment? We look through this task, it's either yes, kept the appointment, or no, did not keep the appointment. Now, there are some notes here to help guide the receptionist. If the prospective patient did not keep their appointment, please call, text, and email them if appropriate. Now, we could add all that, exactly what scripting here, what the text would say. We could have another email template here and make it very easy for the receptionist. So they're not creating anything. No messaging is going out into the world that we don't approve of, right? It's all scripted and said and articulated in a way that the practice is congruent with the practice and what the doctor and the practice manager expect. So to make sure it's professional, make sure it's consistent, and has the right tone, right? So if they didn't keep the appointment, please call, text, and email them if appropriate. Document all of your notes for calling, emailing, and texting the prospect so that we can continue to improve our processes, right? That's important. Please make all of your notes at the bottom of this page. Once you have attempted to contact the person over the next 3 days, if they have not responded, assign this task to the doctor for review and follow-up, or the practice manager, right? Doctor and or practice manager. And so comments, so it could be, oh, she didn't show up for her appointment today, so if we hit no, typically in this example, no is only going to be if they don't show up at all, right? So this would kind of stay open until they either definitively show up or don't show up. So at the end of, like, let's say for this example, the receptionist follows up every day, checks every day for the next 3 days. If the receptionist is not able to get in touch with the the prospective patient. If they don't come in, if they don't communicate, then what they would want to do is select no, did not keep the appointment. And each call they could say sent text on 6/20/28/24 saying, and they could put what they said in the text message, and then also sent mail same day too. And then of course you could have the scripting, you could have all that ready to go out, and they could hit send and it would add to the comments. And then what they would do is, let's say it was the 28th, and they would follow up, let's say on Monday. So they would just select the next due date would be on Monday, which would be July 1st. They would hit save, and so they're going to follow up Monday at 8 a.m. So that's how it would kind of work. And so let's say if the prospective patient did keep their appointment, they would click on yes, kept the appointment, and you can see that opened up a new task here below, start the new patient process. They would hit complete. And then in this case, it passes over the demographic information that we collected. And it says, before completing the task, start the new patient process workflow here to ensure proper documentation and efficient office flow. So in a situation like this, you could stop it here. Yes, they kept the appointment complete and the workflow would be done. Or you could pass this data to the next step in the patient journey through the practice. This is the first piece of the patient journey with your office. And then the second part is, once they walk through those doors, then you should have another process, day one. And if you have a multiple step process, like let's say they come in for an initial examination and evaluation, and that's day one, and then they have to come back for a day two, which is typically, like, let's say it's a review of their findings, and you're going to give them your opinion on their case and a plan, present a plan, and maybe there's a financial plan that's presented. All that information should be documented in a process, and it should actually provide every person that's involved in that process with the tools that they need. If there's any documents or forms that a financial manager or that a doctor or someone is completing and presenting to the patient, based on their findings, and let's say it's financial and it's clinical, then they need to have all that in the process, so they can just open up the workflow, and they can click on the documents and download it straight from Process Street to their desktop, customize it, print it if they want to print it, or save it in electronic format so that it's available and it's all right there. No looking in folders for different documents or other things. Everything is self-contained. If something needs to be uploaded, or if if you have a document that's signed and then you want to upload a document that's completed something by the patient, you can upload it directly to the checklist as well and attach documents too. So this is the way that you completely transform a practice, that everyone in the practice, employees, managers, doctors, can really maintain their sanity. Because in a practice where you don't have clarity, it can seem very chaotic. You can have very upset patients. You can be legally out of compliance. You can have bad reviews, and you can just be stressed and completely maxed out when there's no need for that, because it's just inefficient. So this is a tool that is affordable, incredibly versatile and powerful. It can be used very simply. It can be used with integrations to other software, right? So when different steps are taken, tasks are completed, it can send notifications through, Teams or Slack or other messaging software. It can, it really has tremendous number of integrations, and can be a world-class solution for any practice, any healthcare practice, big or small. So I highly recommend you check it out. You can look in the description of the video. You can go to our channel and look there at the description, and feel free to visit Process Street. You can get a free trial. You can also, if you'd like to talk with me about your particular situation to see if my company, Process Doctors, could assist you or might be a good fit for working with you to help you build out your workflows instead of doing it all yourself. We have some experience in this and be happy to help you out with that too. You can schedule a free consultation. You just click on the link in the description and complete the form. Once you complete that form, we'll be in contact with you too. But I hope this has been helpful. This is a great tool. It can really change your practice. I hope this has been a good overview for you, and please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions. Thanks.